Shit.
There are simple explanations for all the puzzling lights we see in our skies. Explanations for all. To conclude, there are simple explanations for all.
Don't live in fear. The solution is here. Of 50 megatons, equal to 16 times the total explosive force of all the bombs and shells used by all the armies in World War II. Based in America, the Airborne Alert Force is deployed from the Persian Gulf to the Arctic Ocean, but they have one geographical factor in common. They are all 2 hours from their targets inside Russia.
Something poking him.
We set up a camera aimed at Rob's wrist.
You can see these orbs that will go up to his face and my son and I moved into a new home. It was within weeks that my son is saying, Mom, it's happening again. It became very clear the spirits have followed us.
My ghost story.
Good day to various media organizations, college universities, government organizations, and in all honesty, anyone who may watch this video. This is not about me. My name is James Tidwell. I'm from Sacramento, California. It's about us. People from Earth. Affects each and every one of us. I'm going to talk about various topics today that affect our world greatly. None greater than orb awareness. You may ask, what is an orb? An orb is a mass of energy. We've all heard of crop circles and unidentified flying objects. They look like blips on a radar that come into our planetary system, okay, and have been coming in and out of our planetary system for thousands of years from another planetary system. Who are they? Where did they come from? What's their involvement in our world? Why have they not communicated with us? They have communicated thousands of years ago. The world's major religions, Christianity and Muslim, both are correlated. The miracles of the New Testament, we don't say miracles anymore. We say the science of. Father who art in heaven. Those people are the people behind orbs, crop circles, and paranormal activity. Why they have never for thousands of years communicated with the people of Earth, used their science to help the people of Earth, goes into the depths of. There's video that I'm attaching to this conversation we're having here today of orbs coming into structures, buildings. There are shows, paranormal activity, ghost hunters, where people are catching these orbs on camera. If you go on the internet, you'll see pictures of people, look for pictures of orbs. You can see them being caught. They look like a blip, like a ball of light, like a bolt, caught in the frame. But they have capabilities. As far as pulling up to people's craniums and staying for extensive amounts of time, people hearing voices, sublime of mind, being influenced. Why these people would do that? Beyond the FAVs of. But there's a lot of people coming forward now, thinking they're ghosts, or just from where we come from, you're perhaps you're schizophrenic, you're hearing voices. They're in your head, they're made, you're sublime. That's not the case. In my case. Okay. This started in October of 2002 with me here in Sacramento. I started to hear voices. Okay. The probability of when you start to hear them, it's thought to mind or just nonsensical babble. Probability of finding out where they're coming from. Extreme. Only, let's see, it's March the 2nd, 2014. It was, sit down here, take my time with you guys. This is my 4th orb awareness video, okay? We need to get together publicly, put our evidence together, and come to the understanding of, we do know what's going on here. Hearing these people is not a nice thing. There's other people who are, like Mr. Tidwell here, perfectly sane people from where I come from. There's an article in the 2000, I make reference to this in my other orb awareness videos, 2013 October, Scientific American Mind. There's a professor by the name of Eleanor Longden. She's a professor at Lloyd's College in London, England. When she first was attending Lloyd's, okay, she started to hear these people. They do not say who they are, but they're with you. Hi, my name is. That's not it. It's thought to mind, saying things that I'm not going to repeat. Not a nice thing. This article I read, thought to mind, this lady was being orbed. Why? That is beyond the FAVs of a question mark. science of the Bible in and out of our planetary system for thousands of years, influencing our events. Social mental illness. Okay, I don't think Christmas is going anywhere, because when I was a kid, it's really cool. The trees, the smells, the lights, the gifts. What a surprise! But the meaning behind it, not a good thing. Those people, their area code, and when I say area code, their planet, Father art in heaven. Okay? I've gotten a lot of information at this point, gathered a lot of information. I'm going to share it here with you today. Okay? Now, I have heard other voices who were saying they are channeling, but they're not alone in the universe as far as being found out about. There in God we trust. So I'm very, very, very hopeful for the future of learning more and more of our history and that planetary systems, Father art in heaven, the New Testament, science of the Bible, learning more about exactly how that science works. Okay, that I am optimistic, is all I'm going to say. So let me check my clock here. In about 45 minutes, I'm probably going to check the camera here. I have my gray shirt on here today. Okay, the people that I'm talking about. Okay, I'll just call them the Grays. It's a gray area. They actually have gray skin. Okay, they've actually been involved with our history in not a nice way. I've spoke before on orb awareness that they've had an attitude, I say the cosmic law, the cosmic wall, as far as they just do not regard generation after generation of people from Earth with respect. I would say, to use a reference, the Iron Cross, the Germans, just annihilate, just do not have a mind as far as seeing people as let's get together and mockery to the tilt. The world's major religions, there's not enough, there's, at the bus stops and at the grocery stores, there's flyers, churches such as Dianetics. Okay, let's get science involved. Jesus Christ, creator of the universe. All sins of all humanity, forgiven. And some people's sins probably don't need to be forgiven, but just forget them. Many questions about exactly therein God we trust. Now, I've been told by the Grays, those that are sensical enough to do some communicating when I hear them, that They're in God we trust. They're in a certain location on their planetary system. Okay, they're not the government, but it's like a secret society almost. What they have security in their area to where no one really knows that they have their orb science areas that get into the currents of and can direct and actually link up with people either through the sublime of the mind, like how did I have that thought come to me, or in my case to where I'm hearing you people, okay, I'm not understanding why you're not communicating, and why are you bugging on people from Earth? Why are you not involved with your science setting up hospitals and so forth, and just do not have an attitude to where they feel that that's what they ever wanted to do. Some of them have said they did want to communicate with this world about them. They look absolutely nothing like us. As far as questions of the Bible, like ascension, actually, factually, people were on a molecular, flesh-to-flesh level. There in God we trust, on the highest level. Actually, people got from here to their planetary system, that particular area code, Father art in heaven, Jesus Christ, okay, but it's been was told adamantly, it's they're in God we trust. We do think it was found out about quite a long time ago, and it's been a very, very long time since the last person actually was ascended on a molecular level. Questions of the science involved. It's on the highest level of minds amongst minds. Seeing the, as I've stated before, the chemical, electrical photosynthesis that holds everything together, the currents that flow around our world that hold us together, our connection to and through minds amongst minds, okay, is not the same. It's changing. It's a process of, say, I'll use a reference here. I have heard adamantly, Mr. Tidwell, James, you're not alone anymore. Okay, all the physical, mental things, and knowing what you know, your priority in life is to get together with people of the world out there, put together everything that you know and talk about. And that's what I'm doing here. So, I like to use references, analogies. Old Earth progressing into New Earth. The first Earth Age, the dinosaurs. The intricate workings of, say, I had a reference here, a cranium here. Now, someone got their thinking caps on the intricate workings of life. May it be people from like the Cro-Magnon people, to where this is a gray skull, gray area. We need to get together and talk about. I'm going to show you today. This may take, well, how long has it been? We've been talking for about 15 minutes. You take your time here with me today to have this conversation. Hopefully your university or media organization, we will get together, okay, put together a documentary discussion of from evolution progressing to our hopes of avelution, and the availability of the science and the understanding of the universe we live in. That's my hopes. Have I had very good luck communicating? I've sent out dozens of orb awareness videos talking about it. This is actual factual evidence. Okay, this is actually factually as close as I can get. Of course, there's going to be people who are going to be spectacle. They're not going to quite. They're going to say, you know, well, I'm 100% sure. Well, you can't say 100%. Okay, 99.9% until we actually have, which is my faith in the world, and it is in God we trust. I'm here in the United States of America, and that is truly what I believe in. And like I said, I have heard other minds amongst my mind say, hey, the psycho minds that you've been hearing that have been involved with this world are known about. Okay, their in God we trust is not our in God we trust. Let me get back to creator or liar. These are little flyers they sent out. You know, in the beginning, God created the heaven and earth. Genesis in 7 days. It's interesting conversation. I don't think so. On the 8th day rested. Yeah. So very interesting as far as, where was I? The first Earth age, the dinosaurs, the intricate working, or even this Earth age, which is considered the second Earth age. The intricate workings of life, from people to flowers, birds, you name it. Obviously, there was some artistry done. As far as evolution, I think I watched a debate not too long ago. It was with Nye, the science guy. Okay, there's something to that. Passing traits along. Okay, progressing is in. But as far as evolution, BS. All right, you might as well use the word evil, as in mockery, cover up. That's what we're talking about today. Being not alone. Old Earth. You know, using this old camera here, and picturing, generation after generation of coming over, and how that works as far as clearing minds is what the Greys say. That's all it is. Clearing minefield? Yeah. That's not it with me. Or us. That was awfully bright, man. The equations that flow into our world. If we were to put my glasses on, when you're being orbed, you may ask, James, are you hearing these people? Yeah. Are they ringing your bell? Yes. Okay. Well, what's loaded in here? Okay. Around the world. Okay. Equations that flow into our world. I got this pink hat on. The NFL uses it for cancer awareness. The equations that flow into our world, I've stated before, people can be pretty foul. I'm sure we have cooked up certain things that have affected our well-being here. And so, hopes for the future, let's upgrade and have more of a mind. And I have heard minds amongst minds that are not from Earth, they're not from Father art in heaven, the Greys area code. Okay, want to come in behind these guys and link. Okay, as far as the world is going to change, the universe is going to change. Using reference, Aquarium universe is a good reference. A discovery is what I've been told not that long ago, in the overall sense of who's channeling minds amongst minds from this planetary system to any other that greatly affect the currents of our life, upstream, downstream. in the understanding of. I think what I will do is go ahead and show you the evidence that I have, that I've been adamantly told was, go ahead, Mr. Tidwell, put together what you have. Let these people out there see what you've put together. And they've also said sending out dozens of these of orb awareness videos that it's theoretically impossible that the media or university and so forth haven't wanted to get in contact with you, put together this conversation out of your office here, which happens to also be my apartment. So what I'm going to do, it's disturbing, but it's the truth about the grace. When I say the grace, Father art in heaven, the New Testament, Jesus Christ, and yes, they also set up the other world's major religion, and that's mockery, okay? Churches do a lot of good. If you see this in your life and you're involved in the church, I would say, hey, if there's any sign of a cross or the New Testament, take it down. Okay, I would start a church, the Constitutional Church of the United States, or the United Way Church of whatever country. They do a lot of good churches, so that's one thing. But as far as their history, my granddad was in World War II, and he'd say, no way, the Iron Cross. The Jews deny, the Germans rounding those by the millions, and these people with their orbs floating around, man, you talk about anger. And I'm being orbed right now, which makes it even more of a, this trying to remain calm here, and not really come out with what I truly hope for these people, that and knowing what I know. Is very difficult. Do believe in all the fathoms of the fathoms of the fathoms that we are going to, and I do believe you out there who I'm speaking to. This is about not just anything. It's about life and people, the cycles of life, the currents of life, and the overall understanding of in God we trust. So I do hope that these people that we're talking about here today are held accountable, and I'm talking about the Greys and their involvement, non-involvement. Why they would bug out on civilian people, I'm not really sure exactly why they would do that. Okay, that I'm not sure. I'm going to go ahead and share some information that I have here. I do believe it's 100% accurate, but of course there'll be speculative people, and that's fine. That's just the way of our world. Okay, what I have here, let me see, as far as, here's a picture of Yoda and Einstein on computer grafted together. Minds amongst minds. Relativity. The evolutionists, whoever was involved with the intricate workings of life, were involved with the Greys also. I'm going to first make reference to, we've all heard of the Shroud of Turin. Okay. And people have for a very long time wanted to know, and I was told the Shroud of Turin is actually factually a hoax. That was not Jesus Christ. Okay. Through minds of minds, through orbs and the Greys, they have been involved with markers throughout our history. This is very disturbing. Thought to mind. You're being influenced through the sublime. There's a particular rock and roll group here from the United States, from the 90s. Very well known worldwide if you speak English. Okay. Many of their songs, many of their songs, many of their lyrics, there is no question, were influenced through thought to mind, through orbs. Okay. Why? Wanting to make a reference of one of their albums. The name of the group is Soundgarden. Okay. From the 90s. One of their albums. When I say albums, I'm from the 80s, so I'll tell you a little more about Mr. Tidwell here in a moment. This is a very interesting conversation. It's very truthful. People being influenced, events being influenced. I'm going to read some of Soundgarden's lyrics from a album called The Super Unknown. Okay, let it be known that we found out about the super unknown and people being influenced thought to mind through orbs and the grave. Okay. This is, it's called Limo Wreck. And the wreck of you, I've made reference to this before. Okay. Now, as far as Christopher Cornell, yes. Shroud of Turin, okay. A super unknown, let it be known. If you want to know exactly what Jesus Christ looked like when he walked the face of the earth, Chris Cornell from the group Soundgarden. Okay. I'll read some of the lyrics of this. And the wreck of you, this is from a song called Limo Wreck. And the wreck of you is the death of you all, and the wreck of you is the break and the fall. We are the wreck of you, we are the break and the fall. Tears of the fable, hands of the slaves, skin of the mothers, mouths of the babes. Building the towers that belong to our sky. When they come crashing down, don't ask us why. Under the shelf of the sky. 2 eyes, 2 suns, the heavenly blinds. Swallowing rivers belongs to our sea. That's one song. There are many songs. This was before a certain incident. Okay, there's other reference to a terrorist event called 9/11. Okay, the Greys knew about this. They influenced this event. Super unknown. Okay, here's another song. There are probably a half a dozen songs you would say that's thought to mind. Whoever wrote the lyrics was being sublime, thought to mind. Well, it's the circle of power. It's all the same. All the circle of power, spinning the circle of power under different names. Okay, so let me show you a picture of, just so I'll put it, and I will actually download this on the computer also. Here's a picture of the Shroud of Turin. Okay. Now, here's a picture of Christopher Cornell. Okay, that is a actual factual twin to what Jesus Christ looked like. There are songs after songs after songs after songs after songs of reference to someone was being thought to mind. They may have never heard, like some of those people on the Ghost Hunters, they probably might have felt disturbed. They might not have. Okay, they may not have. Now, let me go into, let me see here, you may ask, and I've asked, and they've said, there are actually still people, if you were to pack your bags, okay, if you were ascended to where the Gray's planetary system is, as we get older, we start to go gray. The skin starts to turn a certain way. Why exactly But why would Yoda go to sleep and give up on the cause? I'll direct you, and Obi-Wan Kenobi, put your sword down. A little bit of humor, but man, go ahead, keep talking on the dark side. I'm saying that because there's reference to thought to mind also from, if you want to know exactly what the Greys look like, Father Art in Heaven, their area code, and actually people from Earth. Hopefully this little suitcase will come into play. I can get all this together. It'd be very advantageous that we of a higher intellect society get together at a conference area, university, put together our evidence, have a discussion, probably make a formal documentary video and use computer graphics of the aging process. Here from Earth, when we start to get older, we actually start to look very, very similar to the Greys as far as the wrinkle lines. If you're of Caucasian color, start to actually turn. People that were ascended to that planetary system, and I have been told that there are people still alive there. They have billions of people. I've been told they don't have as many people as we do, but they have billions of people. Not quite half the population of Earth is their world's population. Father Art in Heaven. I hope you found that very interesting. Shroud of Turin. Let me do a rewind. As I'm getting my cranium rang here. If you get on YouTube, there's a video called Orb Awareness, and it makes it. It is what I'm living with. If you were to take a seashell, and you put it to your ear, you can hear the. If you were to turn it up like 100 times, that's what I'm hearing. It's not a good thing, but it's really not about me at this point. It's about getting this information out, and it is rather interesting. So people from our planetary system. Okay, let me use some reference here. Here's some Star Wars pictures. I'll use Ian McDiarmid as the counselor, or I don't know. He's the bad guy. People start to age here from our world. There's Ian right there, Ian McDiarmid, and I will download these on the computer too. Okay, that's him. Okay, now if you were to shave his hair and continue the aging process, the skin would actually turn. You see the color of my watch here, or my shirt. That is actually the color of the skin turns from that race of people. Father Art in Heaven, yes. People ascended there from Earth. The hair goes out. Okay? The skin begins to turn. Here's another reference. This is Herbert Brownell, the Attorney Governor. I'm not sure exactly where. U.S. Attorney Governor. Okay. Truth be known about this. Yeah. It does not seem theoretically possible that they did never communicate with our world. Oh. They use that science of the Bible, yeah. And there's only, what you've been told, there's only like, okay, that is starting to turn. All right, I'll go ahead and come back over here. Here's a lady from, that I go to the library, I see. Okay. And this is around the world. Yes, around the world. And it can be of any ethnic race. I made a reference to Orb Awareness in my Orb Awareness on YouTube, that people that were ascended there, at this time it's been so long ago that there's really no. When the Chinese and the Russian got together in centuries past, there were thousands and thousands in the Soviet Union. But if you were to go through now, you can't really tell. Here in Sacramento, there's a very high population of Russians. You can't really tell that they have a lot of Chinese ethnicity. You can't tell that they, through the gene pool, that they are. And that's what I've been told about as far as people that ended up where the Greys are. Let me go ahead and show you a picture of, okay, of exactly what they look like. Okay, and it is from the movie Star Wars, Through Sublime of the Mind. This picture here is, when people say the Greys, this is what people are thinking. Okay, that's not it. Okay, they look absolutely nothing like that. Here's a picture with George Lucas. This may be rather beyond fads, isn't it? That they would go through sublime of mind, super unknown, and into, yeah, and people just, this is exactly what they look like. Can you see that? Let me use get a closer picture. There's George Lucas, whoever directed Thought to Mind. These people believed that it was the continuation of super unknown, their society. They're not the government. I've been told from they have an area on their planetary system that they work out of. They have connections from where they're from. That's what they look like. A closer picture, if I were to get out my clay, get out my clay model here, and were to sculpt these guys, and this would be, yeah, of all clay, terracotta. These people floating around our planetary system for thousands of years, in and out of higher intelligence, say when in Rome or when in Asia, and then going to places like Africa or other areas, South America, setting up pyramids around the world, not communicating with our world, and sitting back and waiting, and they've said on more than one occasion, it does not seem theoretically possible of higher intelligence that there has never been people from Earth, as far as someone who was someone, questioning to the tilt the world's major religions. Okay, I do hope these people are held accountable. Like I said, I have heard In God We Trust that they're not alone anymore. And the people that I'm trying to find out more about, who I'm hearing says they have absolutely nothing to do with orb science. And I have not been really able, other than people are going to have lives again. That's, believe it or not, that is exactly what. Okay. If I were a scholar into the future, we did actually find out about evolution and other planetary systems. That's what the Greys look like. Okay. And this one's sitting here with George Lucas. They are extremely don't look anything like people from Earth, except for if you go into reference, if you were to consider our people, if we were to live, the evolutionists must have had quite a sense of humor. If you look at this photo, and I've been told, must have had quite a sense of humor. These guys, yeah, and that's male or female. You can't necessarily tell if they're 100 years old or 1,000 years old because of the age lines. Well, they come out with the vertical lines, but people that ended up there from here, I've been told you really can't tell much of a difference. Okay, especially if they were Caucasian, and I've been told these people actually, as far as Africa and life forms and so forth, they racist. Believe that or not, it's true. Yeah, they could have intervened in that continent with higher intelligence. Could have been peace on Earth with their science that they had. You may ask, how many of them are there? I've been told they're not several thousands, around between 1,000 and 2,000 orb scientists that from that area code. And that area code on their planetary system did actually have people that looked like people from Earth. All I've been told exactly, can you get as far as what's the Revenge of the Sith is the movie where you can see the Greys. Those are true Greys. Okay. The other photos that I have. Okay. Yes. This image here of Mr. Cornell, you factually could not, from what I've been told, tell the difference after a prolonged period of time. And it's not a that is more what they end up looking like. Even more so. I've been told even more so the people that were ascended there. And if they were here from Earth, they did not actually factually come through in any other mindset other than I say the Nazis. I do not care about their home world Earth here. How many of them are left? I don't know. We sure would like to. My in God we trust in space and time. I do think we'll find out more about those people being held accountable. Participation, non-participation. As far as civilians and bugging and like the Professor Eleanor Longden or myself, exactly why they would keep tabs on people. I've said in other orb awareness, once I started these orb awareness, and I said I'm going to go ahead and send out as much as I can truth about the world that we live in. My bell is being psychotically rung. Okay, I don't know if they think that this is going to be what I'm hearing. That the truth is not going to be known. I don't know why they would not be involved in government. That's a good question. I think I'm going to take a time out here. If they were to show up and talk to President Obama, I'm going to take a time out and change my shirt here, check my batteries on the camera. Once again, if you're a university philosopher astronomy department, if you're with the media, I don't know about as far as doing anything other than, you can start your own investigation. You may feel that this information is non-creditable. It's like I said, if we were getting ready to pack our bags, the currents that flow through our world. Okay, when I say the evolutionists, how the intricate workings of minds amongst minds, who they were and how they could come in, and the equations that make up our world. I mean, I would have to get my current hat on here, consider the currents of life, looking for the cure. I'll try to have some type of, keep us calm as we can here. Whoever, I like to use the reference from the movie 2001 Space Odyssey, how it's like a computer or something flowing around our world, and it just goes into the paths of hoping that another computator on the highest level will come through, link on to with their artwork. Get in there. There's a pink one there. Get in there and work the bugs out. So, upstream, downstream. The older that we get, using reference to, you can take a green apple and it will turn red. I avoid red apples because of that Adam and Eve talk. Using reference to skin turning gray or a planetary system of them. And use reference to that. And flowing around the currents of our world. It's kind of a bluish gray. Here's a yam also. So I got the president cut out here. I have been told, give us people to look up to. I guess they are extremely tall, the Greys. So, currents that make up our world, I have my thoughts, theories, ideas, and I have been told people are going to have lives again. If you consider the chemical, electrical, photosynthesis, and we all have a aura pattern. The brain, scientists have found out, the moment that we come out of the womb and are awake and alive, memory is memorized like a camera. Okay, it's on. Even though I don't have the greatest recall of memory. You may wonder, who is this guy? My name once again is James. Well, I'll give you my full name. James Brady Tidwell. Born November 10th, 1970. In Sacramento. Moved to Odessa, Texas when I was about 4 years old. The doctors told my parents, get him out of the Sacramento Valley. He's having breathing problems. I had respiratory problems. You're in a valley, so there's a lot of pollen and so forth. Moved to where my grandparents live in Odessa, Texas. I lived there till my parents, actually my mom and my stepdad and my brother. I have one brother. Yeah, they got divorced, so I went to live with my dad in Vancouver, Washington, up in the Northwest, which is where these guys are from, Cornell and Soundgarden. My dad's company got audited by the IRS, so financial troubles. I ended up back here in Sacramento where my stepdad and my mom got back together and graduated high school here. Have some college, went to the junior college here. Jobs? Let's see. When I first was spotted by the orbs, I worked in a building called the Wells Fargo Center here in Sacramento. It's the largest law building in Sacramento, Sacramento being the capital of California. I used to work security. It's called the Wells Fargo Center. And so I used to go up on the roof and shine my flashlight, and I was spotted. I was spotted by the orbs. I'd see them come by, and they look like blips up in the atmosphere, and I'd shine my flashlight on. So that's where I was tagged by. And October 2002, I did not know that people that are paranormal, UFO hunters and so forth, are putting themselves at potential risk. You see on the shows, ghost hunters, stigmata type marks, and people hives and rashes, and starting to feel faint, and don't really need to be in that field. These are not nice people, but yet again, minds amongst minds. I've been told that there's less and less and less of that because of they are not alone in the universe. They're in God we trust, not my in God we trust. Yeah, I would never guess that sold cars in the Roseville Auto Mall for years here in Sacramento. Construction, delivering construction equipment down to San Francisco. Ideal location here in Sacramento, as far as you're an hour away from the Bay Area if you wanted to take a day trip, or an hour away from Tahoe and so forth. Anyhow, I just thought I'd give you a little bit of my background if you're wondering, well, who is Mr. Tidwell here? He's being psychotically orbed, and that is, as Eleanor Longden states, that is an absolute nightmare. It's nonsensical. Why? Exactly why? I in the fast not understanding, seeing these ghost hunter shows, these people complaining about there's a presence. All I can tell you this is, they can link up, okay, and get a feel like seeing in and out and so forth. They have plans for the future. There are other movies you could use reference to. If you've ever seen the movie Blade with Wesley Snipes, the bad guys in that movie, one of them actually used reference. They're not real happy with their images, and you saw the pictures that I show. They do still believe that ascension is going to happen again for them, and even more than that. That there's a movie called Prometheus, okay, that they'll be walking around with people from Earth looking more like that image there. Or have you ever seen the movie Hellboy? There's images there. There's other movies to where someone, without question, was using thought to mind to make reference. These people believe that it's super unknown, as the continuation of the mystery of history will continue. And that may be the truth. I sure would appreciate if you receive this information, you receive this video, and you watch it. Confirmation that you've received it, even if you are in disbelief of this conversation. The patterns that make up our world, the cycles, the currents. I've been told people are going to have lives again. That, let me make reference one more time to a theory that I have, the aura theory. When I was talking about your mind is the real, you also have an aura pattern, an energy that's invisible. Some people have older movies and so forth, some of the classic movies, there is like a glowing presence. Those people are no longer with us. Using reference to the cores, okay, as far as minds amongst minds coming in, my God, in God we trust, okay, the planetary system, all right, on the chemical electrical photosynthesis, on processing through what was not my in God we trust. The only mind amongst minds on that level to be able to, from the intricate workings of our life. Coming in behind, getting involved in that is exactly what is occurring with our world. Okay? Your aura pattern, who you are, physical body, and so forth. This In God We Trust, the grace, okay? Do not think that I have questioned the science of the Bible with them, why they have not helped people from our world. Doing the opposite is not what they needed to be doing. I do hope with every ounce of my being, they are held accountable. My In God We Trust, a power pack. There's the battery entering in, figuring as much as it can of the world, the chemical, electric energy that makes up, holds anything and everything together, okay, processing it, and your aura. When you're out like a light, okay, we don't stay here. We don't stay here. We are under the downstream. The grays can live up to thousands of years, okay? Not tens of thousands, but into the thousands of years. And that, I've been told, that is people from their planetary system, rejuvenating themselves, recycling. We hit a certain area, we're all going down here. The wither to weather pattern. When a person dies, it can, depending on the conditions, how long does it take a body to decompose? We're considering composing. DNA sequencing, seeing things through the physics of our world. I've got an older magazine here. It was good to be, it's a, of all things, a crossword puzzle. Younger people. This was actually, I thought I would use that as reference. John Travolta shaves his hair now, I think Tom Hanks do, but people having lives again. There's Princess Diana. Very excited about that into the future. I've been told it's not going to be lifetimes, plural. We are living in the age of people having lives again. And we will find out more about this discussion that we're having today through science, DNA sequencing. How are people going to have lives again? Okay, there's a theory that we all have a twin somewhere on the planet. I think it's advantageous to keep your DNA on record. Keep a vial, either with your doctor or at your home or so forth, on record. Science is advancing, but because of the problem of our history here dealing with not my In God We Trust, okay, not with a discovery, Aquarium Universe, talking about that, communicating about that. I do feel this. I've said this on more than one occasion. Evolution into evolution. Higher intelligence in society getting together with higher intelligence, putting together everything that we have, having the discussion of, and making sure that people are understanding don't necessarily be influenced by just outright stupidity, such as terrorist organizations, so forth and so on. I'm going to speak later about humanitarian topics and how we could go about making the world a safer, better place. But I feel that the first half of what we've been discussing here now for about an hour is the most important discussion that we can have, and I do say we, as people. The truth of it. Decomposition, composition. It would be wonderful to see composition of life again and learning more about my In God We Trust and actually thought to mind transfer and people being alive again. That aura theory, when we're gone out, okay, your signal, it's not just into into a blank cartridge anymore. And I was told that's exactly what was happening for thousands of years, and to the point of it was in the 1800s, closer to the middle of the 1800s, when a certain Minds Amongst Minds, this aquarium universe that we live in, was discovered. Okay, and it's coming in behind a blank cartridge. Now, I've been told that some of the grays, when they're in and out of people's minds, were able to read that mind like a film, and that there is a high likelihood, very high, that there are some people, there's enough memory of their life through the grays' memory that they could have a life again. But it's in the, like, out of the thousands of that have been involved in orb science, in and out of planetary systems, in and out of people's minds and bodies, that it's like in less than the 1 percentile. And that basically we're looking at a blank here. The history of Earth, people, middle 1800s, or right around, okay? That's not the case anymore. Shine some light on it in here. So, I'm hoping very, very interesting. I have my headphones. If you want to know more about what I'm living with, because I don't necessarily know because of everything that I'm talking about here, and this, my development, your development, exactly how my life's going to progress. But I hope you find this conversation very, very interesting. So it's just this, like I said before, flying saucers is not it, but you could add one more of these and boldly go Star Trek around into the future. That's what I would work on. This going to Mars one way, I don't think that's it. I have been told by the greats there's more than microbial life on Mars, but it's not much of anything, like minnows or something. And they're not being specific. They just said it's not a lot of life, but it's more than microbial. I've asked them, has there been a civilization there, and they said they don't know. They don't think so. No sign of. So, hopefully we won't be Mars here. Running currents, have been told that don't have to have a moon to still have seasons and currents and so forth. So many questions. I wish that the Greys were not hardcore into the history that has been, and that is non-involvement. Okay, setting up the world's major religions around the world, and then sitting back and waiting for higher intelligence to talk about it was not the thing to do without getting involved. Not the nicest people. I don't think our people are in God we trust. We're not even from Earth or their planetary system, from what I have been told, discovered on the highest level. I don't necessarily believe they're even in physical bodies. I don't know how that's processed and so forth. The ET t-shirt floating around, and do come back around with that magic finger, and help people. Talked about before other subjects, well, such as there have been people who have had complete severing of their limbs. Found the limbs later or at that time, and had them surgically, arteries, bone, grafted screws and bolts, put back together, and regained. Some people around a little, not quite half. Other people 100%. I don't know as far as research goes. People, when I was contacted by the FBI here in my apartment back in 2000 and beginning of 2012 or the end of 2000, I'm not quite sure. I should have wrote it down, but I contacted the FBI here in Sacramento rather adamantly about, you have a security threat. You are in uniform. You are the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, Marines. We have enemies. Your recruitment stations out right next to Target shopping stores and grocery stores, and I don't believe this is just the United States, I think it's Europe also. You are running a risk of recruiting the wrong people with citizens around. Absolutely no security. Not wearing firearms. It's not a perimeter. It should be on a military base. And so, I've yet to have a response on that, other than the FBI knocking on my door and saying that you made the military nervous because you sounded like, hey, you guys are potentially a ticking time bomb. So basically, it wasn't an argument. I just was adamant about you need to move the facility to a military base. Nothing wrong with that. That and the Hummers, the Humvees. Speaking of people who might use, they should have never ever, thousands of people either seriously like limbs blown off or dead, literally, into thousands because of the Humvee. Besides they put weights and all types of stuff. This is the biggest turd vehicle the military has ever had. As far as going down the road, what price gas for the bigger? And I think they have changed procedure on that. But where was I? Limbs. When people die, donation cards, not just for organs, should try. There's probably a high probability. People saying I can still feel my leg or my arm years later. Might be a sign that and actually get on the computer and people having their limbs completely off. All types of body parts, you name it, from personal to arms and fingers and hands and so forth, and put back together. And some people 100%. I don't know what type of research is done on that. That and another thing, considering current, I think that there's a possibility. They have pacemakers for people's hearts. I do believe that if the research is done, a pacemaker for the spine that would run a current to the brain, lobe meridian. I'm no doctor, but I think that is the research they should go into. I think it's possible. I'm not exactly sure on spinal cord injuries. The Grays had said before that they have gone in and tried to, but they can't get people back online once there was the what number? The number down. Like I said, I'm not a doctor. My memory is my brain is being wrong constantly. I write things down, take things into account. But a pacemaker for the spine that would run current, I think might get people that are paralyzed back online. And as far as limbs being attached, I think that's a probability too. To have the orb science and not science of the Bible. I I mean, resurrecting people that are out. Speaking of pacemakers, I just got on the internet. There was a man in his late 70s. His pacemaker went out, went to the morgue, was the following day, woke up and kicked the door where they keep the bodies open. So miracles do happen. Getting people online, offline, resurrection and so forth. They've absolutely shared zero equations. What are the equations? And so, things to consider. Really would like to see, as far as possible, nuclear propulsion in space, and sit and watch. Considering my apartment here, it's like your room, your teepee, your hut, your vehicle changes for society. There are HUD homes or foreclosures, but it should be the norm. Just like maybe if you took out the central heating air here, this cheap material, $40,000 worth of material. It'd be nice to just be in everyday society for my kids and future generations. It's not just rent or rent to own or 30-year loans that are at astronomical prices. It'd be nice to say, hey, I can buy it on the norm. A one bedroom around 60,000, 65, maybe 70. Have your titles. Entitlement for humanity. Overpopulating the world with housing and food should have always been a priority of ours. Have a lot of footage of grocery stores, especially produce stores, just throwing out barrels and barrels of food that could be dehydrated. Every major city should have the size of a Lowe's or a Home Depot warehouse to dehydrate and package the food in every grocery store. The meat just starts to turn. Go ahead and put it in the barrel. Yeah, once it's dehydrated, add some seasoning, it's good to go. So people, I think Brian Williams was in Africa about a year ago. Still hundreds of thousands of people starving to death. That's unacceptable. It's organizing, having a network, talking about our world and putting together a game plan. The overall salary of the NBA is well over $1 billion for the player's salary. If one NBA team and one NFL team were to adopt an African country, about 80%, 85% of the NBA is African American, and about 75% of the NFL is African American. That's billions of dollars. We think that there might be something to evolution. The Greys say they stay out of Africa and just had nothing to do with ascension-wise or much in anything like that with the African race. Receiving prize genetics. Yeah, but as far as the old saying here in the United States, go back to Africa, well, they should. We should. And even if you're a different race, and make an example of higher intelligence, that and cities taking care of states taking care of other states. So those are social topics that are very interesting, and what I'm talking about is very feasible. So, was there anything really else I was going to talk about? The priority was having the conversation about orb awareness, who we are, where we are, and what's occurring. Has been occurring. Yeah. So do take into account, if you could find the time to Mr. Tidwell, we received your awareness video. We are. Whoever it might be. That's appreciated. It's kind of a surreal environment that I've been in to send out hundreds of awareness emails and dozens of videos to universities and media organizations. It's really not about me, but I do believe it's a social awareness topic that should be talked about and known, okay, as we are waiting for more, through the minds of minds, more information regarding the world we live in. I don't really have much else to say, except for nuclear propulsion. That's pretty cool. Potato clock. Okay. Can power a small. Has anyone tapped into trees? It is the. It's the chemical. On that, cactuses, things at your university you could attempt to do. Pretty cool advancements technology-wise. I would say so. See, that there's a camera that's being inserted in people's eyes to help them see. That's pretty cool stuff too. So, we'll go ahead and probably end this conversation here today. I don't know how long we talked for, a couple of hours. And thoughts for any people out there living with what I'm living with, or what the professor from, or the people, or from why that's occurring. We don't really exactly know, except for it's all wrong. So I will go ahead and download this conversation. Once again, I am more than available to put something similar like this together, but with other people who have more material. On the internet, I could get more off of that. Watching debates like Bill Nye and Kenneth Ham talk about evolution in contrast to creationism. At this point, it looked like, come on, we are not going to continue to look like lesser intelligence. Now, some people may, for whatever reason, you can't be 100% sure until we're 100% of what the grades look like. Well, I know in my mind, because they've told me repeatedly, 100% on that Soundgarden Chris Cornell. You want to know what Jesus Christ looked like. Shroud of Turin is not legit, but what we're talking about here today is truth. And so maybe some university, you ever heard of like an honorary, would it be in probably philosophy? Maybe someday. But validation is of this confirmation, of this information is important. So get together with your peers, your colleagues, do your own investigation. Like I said, I am more than available. And thoughts for people such as myself on that ringing, man. Oh my. Very good. Good, yeah. Goodbye.